Dr. Emily Harris, a brilliant yet reclusive scientist, unveils a groundbreaking invention designed to manipulate time itself. As she tests the device, she inadvertently alters reality and faces myriad unintended consequences. Trapped in an ethical quagmire, she must decide: restore the natural order or exploit her power for the greater good. How far would you go to rewrite destiny? If you want to dive into real stories of parallel realities every day, in enigmatic, technological worlds that are completely different from our planet, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Well, let's go. The destiny of two worlds hinges not on technology or politics, but on an intimate connection that sparks the unthinkable. Can two beings from different stars overcome ancient biases through the power of human emotion? Stay until the end to uncover an alliance that could redefine existence itself. What if love could transform entire civilizations? Discover an epic tale that blends the mystery of space, the thrill of adventure, and the profound impact of human empathy. Chapter 1. Arrival on Feria Prime. Amidst a backdrop of swirling constellations and the endless void of space, Feria Prime loomed large and imposing. As Commander Carter Bohxton brought his sleek interstellar vessel into orbit around the planet, the horizon of this alien world extended infinitely, with dazzling chromatic mists painting the skies. This mission was unlike any other. The Federation of United Earth had tasked him with forging a historic alliance with the Ferians, known for their technological prowess and emotional detachment. The success of this mission could redefine the future of human and Ferian relationships and ultimately influence the balance of power across the galaxy. The metallic hum of the ramp descending to meet the alien soil resonated in Carter's ears. Tall, with piercing blue eyes and a chiseled jawline, Carter bore the marks of countless interstellar campaigns, his rugged appearance a testament to past battles and hard negotiations. Exuding a resilient determination wrapped in a calm demeanor, he was every bit the seasoned diplomat and fighter pilot. As he disembarked, he was met with an organized welcoming committee that included Azra, the Viceroy of Feria Prime. Azra stood distinct among her peers, her presence commanding and almost ethereal. With skin that shimmered like polished silver under the planet's twin suns, and eyes of a deep, iridescent amethyst, she was an exquisite embodiment of Ferian beauty. Her attire, a web-like ensemble of glistening synthetic fibers, clung to her lithe frame, making her appear as if she were woven from the very elements of the planet. Azra's demeanor exuded cold efficiency and detached curiosity. Her logical, almost machine-like, mannerisms were a stark contrast to Carter's warm and spirited approach. Yet, when she extended her slender, luminescent hand for an initial handshake, she hesitated for a microsecond, an unspoken curiosity twinkling in her alien eyes. Carter's hand enveloped hers firmly, and in that fleeting moment of physical connection, an unspoken understanding passed between them. This would be no ordinary diplomatic endeavor. The Ferian capital city of Lumera, where the negotiations would take place, was a marvel of architectural ingenuity. Towers made of translucent materials spiraled skyward, refracting light into countless spectrums, casting an otherworldly glow on the bustling streets below. Hovercrafts zipped through designated airways, and autonomous drones patrolled with silent vigilance. The stark difference between human and Ferian technology was apparent, yet there remained a lingering familiarity in the pursuit of perfection. Carter was ushered into the council chamber, a vast circular room with a domed ceiling that simulated the galaxy in real time, complete with shimmering stars and distant nebulae. Hovering seats arranged in concentric circles housed the members of the High Council, each clad in resplendent garb denoting their status and role. Azra led the proceedings with a calm authority, introducing Carter formally. As she spoke, her voice resonated with clarity and precision, devoid of any emotional inflection. Her every word was a precise calculation, clear, efficient, and devoid of superfluity. Carter, in contrast, imbued his speech with measured warmth, attempting to bridge the chasm of indifference with the promise of mutual benefit and shared purpose. The negotiations that ensued were marked by rigid formalities and a clash of logical paradigms. On several occasions, the discussions reached an impasse as the Farian representatives struggled to reconcile the human propensity for emotional decision-making with their own calculated rationality. Moments of tension were palpable, with silence heavy as the vacuum of space itself, yet Carter remained undeterred. Azra's role in the negotiations was paramount. As Viceroy, she meticulously documented every interaction, her observant eyes missing nothing. Yet, throughout the discussions, an unexpected curiosity burgeoned within her. She found herself intrigued by the nuanced expressions and subtle gestures of the human envoy. Elements that seemed inconsequential but hinted at a depth of experience and feeling unknown to her kind. Outside of formal meetings, Carter was allotted accommodations within the central administrative compound, a fusion of comfort and advanced technology designed to cater to the needs of high-ranking guests. Despite the opulence surrounding him, he found solace in solitary contemplation, often staring out over the cityscape, wrestling with the enormity of the task before him. During one such moment of quiet reflection, Azra approached unannounced. Her presence, though anticipated, lacked any semblance of familiarity, owing to the Farian propensity for maintaining personal boundaries. "Commander Bohxton," she initiated, her voice carefully modulated. The lack of emotional tone in her greeting was almost a language barrier by itself. "Yes, Viceroy Kin," Carter replied, turning to meet her gaze. Azra studied him with analytical precision. "Your negotiation techniques are unorthodox," she observed. "Human interactions appear driven by variables that elude our understanding." Carter smiled, appreciating the undisguised honesty of her words. "Emotions, empathy, personal investment. They're as integral to our decision-making as logic and reason," he explained. Azra's amethyst eyes narrowed slightly as she considered his response. "An element of your species that bears further examination," she concluded, more to herself than to Carter. "Would you be amenable to an exchange of knowledge, one that extends beyond formal protocols?" Thus began a series of sessions apart from the high-stakes negotiations. Azra's inquisitive nature led her to probe deeply into the intricacies of human behaviors, emotions, and the impetus behind them. Carter found himself becoming an unintentional ambassador of human culture, his explanations often punctuated with anecdotes and personal experiences that revealed the vulnerabilities and strengths of humanity. The dialogues were challenging, requiring Carter to articulate concepts that were inherently abstract. "Emotions are like the stars in the universe," he once mused during a particularly reflective session. "They guide us, give us direction, and their absence leaves an emptiness that logic alone cannot fill." Azra listened intently, every word absorbed with the precision of a data processor. Her questions were relentless, yet it was during these exchanges that Carter noticed subtle changes in her demeanor. Her previously stoic expressions softened imperceptibly, and a previously hidden depth began to emerge. Azra's newfound understanding led her to reconsider the very foundation of Farian logic and emotional detachment. In a civilization where emotions were perceived as weaknesses, she began to glimpse the potential power in embracing them. This inner conflict awakened an intellectual and emotional struggle within her, one that she could not simply quantify or dismiss. Commander Carter Bohxton stood before the towering span of the Hall of Equanimity, feeling the imposing structure's cool shadows cast over him. Faria Prime was a planet rich in architectural marvels, its landscapes marked by spires and domes that seemed to defy gravity, blending seamlessly into the surrounding plains of gleaming, silvery vegetation. Bright shafts of bioluminescent light shone through the transparent walls, casting a soft glow on the rigid, angular lines that dominated the Farian aesthetics. It was a stark contrast to the organic curves and warm hues of human architecture. The air was filled with a faint hum, a blend of machinery and organic life resonating in harmony, a testament to the advanced yet withdrawn nature of Farian society. Carter's mind raced as he prepared to face what would be one of the most critical aspects of his mission: navigating the intricate web of Farian cultural norms. His initial interactions with Azra, the poised Viceroy, left him acutely aware of the vast emotional chasm that separated their species. The Farians' dedication to logic and detachment resulted in a civilization nearly devoid of the passionate intensity that characterized human interactions. As he approached the negotiation chambers, Azra stood waiting, her form ensconced in a slender gown that flowed like liquid mercury, reflecting both the light and the shadow. Her eyes, though devoid of any overt emotion, held a curiosity that seemed tinged with something newly awakened. "Commander Bohxton," she greeted, her voice a melodic blend of formality and curiosity. With a nod, Carter acknowledged her, his gaze unwavering. "Viceroy Azra, it's an honor to continue our dialogue." They entered the negotiation chamber, a vast room with walls adorned with intricate reliefs that depicted Farian history, scenes of scientific achievements, interstellar conquests, and the sterile perfection of a civilization that prided itself on mastery over chaos. The day's negotiations centered around the logistics of shared technology and resources, a meticulous dance of proposals and counter-proposals. The Farians' insistence on efficiency and precision was palpable, making any deviation an affront to their sensibilities. Midway through the session, however, Azra deviated from the set agenda. Her face remained a mask of calm, yet her voice took on a slightly softer tone. "Commander, there is an aspect of human culture that continues to elude our understanding. Your species places a significant emphasis on emotional bonds and rituals related to mating." Her phrasing was clinical, yet there was an odd vulnerability in her inquiry. "Could you elucidate this further?" Carter's brows furrowed briefly before he composed himself. The request was unusual, yet not entirely unexpected. He had anticipated that cultural exchanges might necessitate delving into aspects of human life that seemed trivial from a purely logical standpoint. "Human mating rituals, as you call them, are multifaceted and deeply ingrained in our social structures," he began. Carter proceeded to explain the complexities of human emotional bonds, emphasizing the importance of love, partnership, and familial connections. He described how these elements were not merely biological imperatives but formed the core of human identity. Marriages, friendships, parent-child relationships, each held a unique place in the tapestry of human interaction, shaping societies and influencing decisions on both micro and macro levels. Azra listened attentively, her expression unchanging yet her eyes reflecting a depth of thought. "These bonds appear to demand a significant investment of time and emotional energy," she observed. "How does this correlate with your species' advancement and survival?" The commander considered his response carefully, aware that his words might pivotally influence the Farian perception of humanity. "Our emotional bonds foster cooperation and unity, driving us to achieve collective goals and overcome challenges. They provide a sense of purpose and resilience." Azra seemed to ponder this, her head tilting slightly. In Farian society, such bonds are considered variables that introduce unpredictability. "Are there tangible benefits that outweigh these risks?" Carter nodded, feeling the gravity of her question. "Indeed, the benefits are profound. Emotional connections drive innovation, inspire creative problem-solving, and bolster our resolve in times of adversity. They are the threads that weave the fabric of our civilizations." Azra's curiosity appeared insatiable as she pressed further. "Would you be willing to demonstrate these rituals? For the sake of comprehension and fostering mutual understanding." Her tone remained even, yet there was a subtle intensity in her gaze. Carter hesitated, understanding the potential implications of such a request. Yet, he also recognized the opportunity it presented to bridge the gap between their worlds. With a steady breath, he agreed. For the sake of mutual understanding, I will. Their lessons began within the confines of Carter's quarters aboard his vessel, where the sterile environment provided a neutral ground for their delicate exchange. The juxtaposition of human warmth against the cold interior of the spacecraft was striking, each instance tinged with the tension of the unknown. Azra observed Carter with a keen yet clinical detachment as he explained the nuances of human intimacy and affection. She watched as he demonstrated the significance of touch, the gentle caress of hands intertwined, the warmth of an embrace. Carter's explanations were thorough, his demeanor professional, yet there lingered a profound sincerity in his efforts to convey the depth of human experience. Something shifted within Azra as these lessons unfolded. The initial clinical curiosity gave way to a palpable sense of bewilderment and fascination. She began to experience foreign sensations, a warmth that spread through her at the mere touch of Carter's hand, a strange flutter in her chest when he spoke of love and connection. As the lessons continued, Azra's previously impenetrable facade began to crack. She asked more questions, increasingly probing and introspective. She wanted to understand not just the actions but the emotions that underpinned them. How does one identify a true bond? She inquired one evening, her voice softer than before. Carter's eyes met hers, a hint of warmth there. It's an instinct, a feeling of connection that transcends logic. It's knowing that you would do anything for the other person's happiness and well-being. It's a sense of belonging. These concepts were foreign to Azra, yet they ignited something within her, a yearning to grasp the intangible threads of human emotion. She found herself examining her interactions with Carter more critically, each lesson not just a demonstration but an exploration of her own emerging feelings. One day, as they discussed the role of vulnerability in relationships, Azra confessed to Carter that she had never experienced anything akin to human emotions. Farians are taught to suppress such variables, she explained. They are seen as weaknesses. Carter listened, his heart aching with empathy. Emotions aren't weaknesses, Azra. They are what make us resilient. They give us the strength to face insurmountable odds. They are the source of our greatest triumphs. Azra's internal conflict grew as she grappled with this newfound knowledge. The lessons between Carter and Azra continued in cadence, a dance of knowledge and desire that left both profoundly changed. In the sterile, almost clinical setting of the Viceroy's chamber, the air crackled with a tension that was as intellectual as it was physical. Each lesson, though factual in premise, conveyed unspoken depths of feeling, revealing the transformative power of human emotional intimacy. Azra, ever the paragon of Farian logic, found herself adrift in the vast ocean of human sentiment. Her once unyielding demeanor began to erode like cliffs against waves, as she unearthed the layers of experience encrypted within human emotions. Carter's eyes, with their soulful depth, became windows into a world she had never contemplated, a world where love, empathy, and yearning flourished. The most profound experience for Azra was an unexpected one, a smile. It was not the forced, diplomatic pleasantry humans often used but a genuine expression of joy and contentment. Carter had made her laugh, a light, melodic sound that seemed entirely foreign, even to herself. She felt something stir within her, a sensation both disconcerting and exhilarating. It was the first time she genuinely understood what Carter meant when he spoke of happiness. In the meantime, the High Council of Faria observed these sessions with an increasing sense of unease. Intrigued yet wary, they analyzed every detail through emotionless lenses. They saw Carter's influence on Azra as an erosive force threatening the stoic bedrock of their society. Each council meeting was a clash of values, their harmonious yet cold existence now trembling under the vibrations of human passion. Azra's newly awakened emotions created a chasm within herself. Her public duty to the High Council contrasted starkly against unnamed desires inspired by the human spirit. The words she once used with clinical precision now carried weights of their own, every syllable dripping with newfound intent. The embrace of human culture revealed to her the intrinsic beauty in flaw and fragility, but it was also a double-edged sword, cutting through her defenses and leaving her vulnerable. The High Council sessions grew increasingly contentious. In their grand hall, a fortress of symmetry and austerity, the council members debated. Their attire, flowing robes that reflected their status and logic-based hierarchy, rustled with discontent. Their holographic tablets displayed reams of data and projections, yet none explained the shift unfolding within Azra. Language failed them in these moments, for they could not quantify love or sorrow in bits and bytes. It was anathema to their logical sequence. The humans are an anomaly, declared one of the older counselors. Their emotions are a chaotic force undermining our structured ethos. Their apprehension magnified with each passing day, creating a palpable tension that permeated the air. Azra stood still amidst the storm, her face an elegant mask of contemplation. She was aware her intermingling with Carter and exposure to human emotions had placed her at the center of a silent maelstrom. Yet, for the first time, she didn't shy away from it. She felt a burgeoning resolve to uncover the profound implications of this human experience. Her robotic inclinations wrestled with the organic inclinations now coursing through her, creating a discordant yet harmonious symphony within. She wandered through sprawling gardens of xenoflora during reprieve from her sessions, in an attempt to reconcile her responsibilities. These gardens, meticulously curated with sterile precision, had once seemed the epitome of beauty to her logical mind, but now appeared cold and barren. She longed for the untamed wilderness described by Carter, where life thrived in chaotic splendor. The flowers around her, genetically perfected, no longer held her gaze. Instead, she saw specters of emotions in every petal that had once gone unnoticed. Carter, too, found himself caught in emotional turmoil, recognizing the weight his presence imposed on Azra and her world. His mission had been diplomatic, but it had morphed into a personal journey of introspection and discovery. He remembered his home, Earth, with its verdant landscapes and bustling cities suffused with emotional vibrancy. He questioned the ethical ramifications of influencing Azra and her people. Was he enacting change for the better, or was he merely an imperialist in explorer's clothing? These ethical quandaries also found expression in their physical interactions. During one of their lessons, Carter placed his hand on Azra's cheek, a tender gesture meant to convey empathy and solidarity. He saw a flicker in Azra's eyes, a realization that this simple touch could communicate boundless depths of emotion. In that moment, a silent bridge formed between the two, laying the groundwork for something even the High Council could not foresee. Despite the simmering discontent within the High Council, Azra's insights grew more profound. She wrote meticulously in her private quarters, her writings reflecting a mind in transition, caught between logic and emotion. Her words, once exact and unembellished, had gained a lyrical quality, capturing the essence of the new world she was coming to understand. Her isolation room, previously a sanctuary of rigorous order, began to resemble the chaotic beauty she was discovering within herself. Whole novels of human literature, filled with vignettes of love and heroism, lay scattered on her desk. Strange artifacts from Earth adorned her shelves, each one carrying a sentimental story shared by Carter. Her sterile environment had, almost unnoticed, morphed into a collage of existential questioning and eclectic memorabilia. Meanwhile, the High Council reached the apex of their internal conflict. They called for a decisive meeting where Azra's loyalties would be tested. The grand hall was more solemn than usual, the air imbued with the gravity of their decision. Counselors spoke in low, hushed tones, their voices carrying the weight of their civilization's entire history. The anticipation was a heavy mantle borne by all in attendance. As Azra entered the hall, she carried herself with a serene dignity, her internal conflict masked by a veil of composed grace. The silence was deafening, broken only by the soft hum of the anti-gravity fields maintaining structural integrity. As documentation and records glowed on their screens, the council members prepared to lay down their verdict. The room felt colder, the usual analytical detachment now tinged with tension. In the quiet that followed, Azra began to speak, her voice calm yet resolute. She didn't just argue for the alliance. She illuminated the unquantifiable yet undeniable value of human emotional experience. Her words cut through the data and charts like a laser, exposing the nuanced beauty in the fragility they had so long dismissed. She spoke of love as a catalyst for evolution, an indispensable element for a balanced existence. The council members watched in stunned silence, their minds grappling with concepts beyond their programming. For the first time, they felt a crack in their logical fortitude. The chamber of the High Council on Feria Prime shimmered with its usual austere elegance. The cold, crystalline architecture reflected the rational, emotionless nature of its inhabitants. Council members sat in a crescent arrangement, their serene demeanor creating an aura of unyielding gravitas. Each member embodied the essence of Ferian society, logic and efficiency devoid of emotional influence. Azra Kin stood in the center of this formidable semicircle, her once steady and detached composure now tinged with newfound emotions, thanks to her interactions with Commander Carter Bohxton. Her transformation was evident to any observer, especially those who knew the rigid norms of her kind. Azra met the eyes of each council member, her voice steady yet carrying a fervor unusual for a Ferian. "Esteemed members of the High Council," she began, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Today, I stand before you not just as your Viceroy but as one whose perspective has been transformed." She paused, allowing her words to settle, her gaze shifting to the holographic projection of Feria Prime's history on the wall behind the council members. Each image depicted their civilization's pinnacle achievements, attained through pure logic and intellect. Our society, as you all know, prides itself on our devotion to reason and order. We have attained unparalleled advancements because of this unwavering focus. Yet, my recent experiences have shown me a dimension of existence we have long ignored. The council members exchanged curious glances, their interest piqued yet their expressions remaining stoic. Sensing this, Azra continued, "Humans, despite their seemingly chaotic nature, possess a strength that comes from their emotions. Love, compassion, and passion. They are not weaknesses, but profound sources of resilience and connection." Slowly, the holographic walls began to shift, displaying scenes from Carter's home planet, a bustling market full of vibrant colors, families walking hand in hand, and children laughing. The sights of Earth contrasted sharply with the somber, monochromatic tones of Feria Prime, creating a compelling visual reflection of Azra's words. Viceroy Azra, spoke Elder Zathor, the most senior councilman, his voice imbued with authority. "You speak of emotions as strengths, yet they have been the downfall of many civilizations. What makes you believe this alliance will not lead us to ruin?" Azra inhaled deeply, her thoughts racing back to the intimate lessons with Carter. The warmth in his touch, the fire in his eyes as he spoke of his love for his people, and the vulnerability he showed when discussing his fears. These moments were etched into her mind, forever altering her perception of strength. Elder Zathor, it is precisely through understanding and integrating these emotions that we can achieve true unity. Human emotions, when guided by the principles of love and empathy, have led to remarkable acts of heroism, innovation, and unity. They are capable of forging connections that transcend mere alliances made out of necessity. To illustrate her point, Azra projected a memory disk containing scenes of Earth's history. Victories won through collaboration, advances in medicine driven by a desire to alleviate suffering, and explorations fueled by sheer curiosity and the dream of a better world. These images reflected a different kind of strength, one born from unity and shared dreams. The council members remained silent, contemplation flickering in their eyes. Azra moved to her next point, her voice imbued with genuine emotion. Commander Carter Bohxton has shown me glimpses of such resilience. He comes from a world where hope and perseverance are cultivated through the bonds of empathy. These are strengths we must not overlook. Elder Zathor leaned forward, his gaze penetrating. Viceroy Azra, are you suggesting that we incorporate human emotional principles into our policies? Our society has thrived on logic and order for millennia. Wouldn't this deviation cause instability? On the contrary, Azra replied, her confidence unwavering, integrating these emotional principles will amalgamate the best of both our worlds. We can continue to value logic and efficiency, but with the added depth of human emotional intelligence, our society can achieve immeasurable growth. Her words hung in the air, a bold proposition for a race that had long valued detachment. The holographic imagery shifted to depict Azra's intimate moments with Carter, their candid conversations, shared laughs, and the tender touch that conveyed more than words ever could. Elder Lyra, one of the younger council members, spoke up, her voice conveying curiosity rather than judgment. These human experiences you speak of, Viceroy, how do they manifest in practical terms? Can they truly benefit our cause? Azra seized the opportunity to elaborate, her heart racing. Human emotions drive innovation and adaptability. Take, for example, the concept of compassion. In medical fields, it has led to breakthroughs that save lives and improve the quality of life. In leadership, empathy fosters loyalty and cooperation, leading to more sustainable and cohesive governance. She could sense the council's defenses diminishing, the logical minds within them processing her arguments. Azra took a step forward, her presence commanding the room. Imagine a society where our technological brilliance is enhanced by the emotional resilience of humanity. A partnership where logical strategy and empathetic action coexist, guiding us through uncertainties and fostering unparalleled growth. Elder Zathor leaned back, his expression thoughtful. A murmur of agreement resonated among some council members, indicating a shift, albeit slight. Azra's arguments, woven with personal experiences and logical assessments, were creating the intended impact. The elder shifted slightly, betraying his internal conflict. You present a compelling argument, Azra. However, such a fundamental shift in our societal values cannot be made lightly. What guarantees do we have that this alliance will not compromise our core principles? Azra anticipated this question. Drawing upon her interactions with Carter and the strength she found in vulnerability, she replied, there are no guarantees, Elder Zathor. Embracing this alliance requires courage and trust, from both sides. However, history has shown that great advancements often come from taking such calculated risks. We stand to gain a deeper, more resilient society by adopting these emotional dimensions. Her words resonated through the hall, piercing the logical enclosures around each council member's mind. The holographic walls now displayed a fusion of human and Farian achievements, envisioning a future where both species excelled together. Elder Zathor looked around at his fellow council members, their expressions a mix of contemplation and intrigue. He then returned his gaze to Azra, a hint of respect in his eyes. Your plea, Viceroy, evokes a depth of sincerity rarely seen within these halls. We shall deliberate on this matter, weighing the potential benefits and risks. Summoning quietude, the council fell into deliberation, their discussions intense yet silent to outsiders. Azra stood tall, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and anxiety. She had laid bare her soul, advocating for a union she believed could transform their world. The dawn of a new era began with a hush across Feria Prime. The planet's twin suns were rising, casting an ethereal glow over the sleek, crystalline structures that constituted its capital city, Fedrith. Light refracted through the spires, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that adorned the landscape in shimmering hues. Carter Bohxton and Azra Kin stood on a balcony overlooking this radiant vista, the air thick with the promise of transformation. Reflections of the past days played in both their minds. Each had undertaken a journey far beyond the boundaries of their original understanding. Carter, the human, viewed emotions as the bedrock of existence, while Azra, the Ferian, had initially seen them as cumbersome artifacts of a less advanced species. Now, standing united, they symbolized the unexpected power of cross-species bonds. The alliance, officially sanctioned by the High Council of Feria, heralded opportunities that were both exhilarating and daunting. As leaders, it was now their duty to navigate these uncharted waters. They turned to each other, seeking mutual reassurance in their shared silence. The celebration that followed their announcement was a sprawling affair unmatched in Ferian history. High Counselor Tarek Vel, once a staunch opponent of the alliance, now found himself standing next to Carter. Vel examined Carter with a mixture of curiosity and newfound respect, intrigued by the man who had swayed an entire civilization. "The blending of our worlds is no small feat," Vel remarked. His deep, resonant voice echoed the complexity of his thoughts. "It's just the beginning," Carter replied, his eyes scanning the jubilant crowd. "Our strengths will complement each other in unimaginable ways." In the grand ceremonial hall of Fedrith, a luminous construct built from rare minerals harvested from Ferius moons, the atmosphere was charged with innovation and hope. A vast array of foods, an amalgamation of human and Ferian cuisine, filled long silk-draped tables. Holographic displays projected scenes of both Earth and Feria, interweaving visuals of bustling human metropolises and the serene, futuristic landscapes of Feria Prime. In the midst of this grand setting, Azra presented Carter with a small, intricately designed object. It was a symbol of their newfound unity, made of intertwining strands of Ferian crystal and earth metal. Carter took it solemnly, understanding its significance, a meld of their cultures into an inseparable whole. "Our journey is a journey of many," Azra intoned. "Every path we tread will be a thread in the tapestry of our shared future." The days that followed were a whirlwind of collaborative efforts. Teams of scientists from both planets began working together, their combined intellect ushering in an era of technological advancements. Human and Ferian engineers jointly developed new spacecraft designed to traverse even the most distant and hazardous regions of the galaxy. Medical researchers exchanged theories, augmenting their understanding of biology through the unique physiological insights each species provided. One of the more surprising developments was the rapid advancement in energy technology. The Ferians, who had long mastered the art of clean, inexhaustible energy derived from subatomic particles, shared their secrets with human scientists who, in turn, offered groundbreaking methods for storage and distribution. The synergetic exchange accelerated progress exponentially, hinting at a future free from the constraints of limited resources. Despite the strides made, not all were ready to embrace this new era. Pockets of resistance remained among both Ferian and human factions. Some Ferians still viewed humans as unpredictable, their emotions a destabilizing factor. Conversely, some humans felt threatened by the cold, logical demeanor of their new allies. In one poignant encounter, Carter addressed a mixed assembly of young cadets from both species. His words, delivered with calm conviction, aimed to bridge these lingering divides. We were once strangers, separated by insurmountable distances and ancient prejudices. Yet, in our differences lies our strength. Together, we are more than we could ever be apart. Azra stood by his side, adding her voice to his in a rare moment of public emotion. Let us redefine what it means to be civilized, not by our individual attributes but by what we achieve together. The cadets, a sea of diverse faces and forms, regarded their leaders with earnest eyes. In their youthful hope, the true potential of the alliance shone back at Carter and Azra, a beacon for the challenges ahead. As weeks turned into months, Carter and Azra's journeys took them across both their worlds and into the cosmos. One significant mission involved venturing to a neutral territory to meet with leaders from other galactic civilizations. The objective was to extend the principles of their alliance, advocating for a galaxy united not merely by treaties, but by the shared human and Farian belief in mutual growth and understanding. Their spaceship, the Unity Star Asterisk, stood as a testament to their collaboration. Designed with Farian aerodynamics and human ingenuity, the vessel boasted unparalleled speed and agility. It also featured living quarters that melded the comforts of human design with the minimalist elegance of Farian aesthetics. On board, the crew was a diversified group, emblematic of their joint venture. During one significant diplomatic mission, they encountered the Zygaran Confederation, an enigmatic coalition known for their neutrality. The Zygarans were an advanced species, highly renowned for their wisdom and technological prowess, yet elusive and reclusive. Gaining their acknowledgement would be a pivotal step in legitimizing the human-Farian alliance on a broader scale. The Zygaran Council Chamber was an imposing cylindrical construct, its walls adorned with bioluminescent symbols that narrated the rich history of their planet. As Carter and Azra entered, they were enveloped in a blue luminescence, symbolic of Zygaran hospitality. High Chancellor Elix greeted them with measured curiosity. Elix, an imposing figure with an aura of quiet authority, keenly observed the human and Farian representatives. "We have watched your alliance with great interest," Elix began. "Your unity is both unprecedented and commendable. Yet, the question remains, can such an alliance prevail against the unknown challenges of this vast universe?" Azra stepped forward, her ethereal presence commanding attention. "Our bond is not just an alliance of necessity but an evolution of understanding. In our diversity, we find resilience. In our partnership, we discover strength." Carter added, "Together, we are embarking on a new journey, uniting not just two species, but setting an example for a galaxy that often forgets the power of empathy and collaboration." After an intense deliberation, the Zygarans offered tentative support, agreeing to share their vast archival knowledge with the Alliance, an unprecedented gesture that could further propel the joint endeavor of humans and Farians. Returning to Faria Prime, Carter and Azra recounted their diplomatic success. In a private moment aboard the Unity Star Asterisk, they reflected on the days past and the many adventures ahead. Their bond, initially formed out of necessity, had become a deeply rooted connection symbolizing the limitless possibilities of their partnership. They stood together, watching the starscape from the observation deck. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.